You probably think that your Microsoft Teams messages are private, or at least only visible to your boss if they actually want to look. You finish your Teams meetings, you turn the camera off, the mic's muted, and you think, excellent, conversation over, data gone. Guess what? Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it isn't. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what Microsoft Teams is collecting from all of your meetings, all of your chats, and your daily activity, and why most businesses have absolutely no idea how deep this actually goes. So buckle up, let me explain it all to you. Now picture this, right? Tuesday afternoon, your team's just wrapped up a call, nothing really that sensitive, bit of project planning, a bit of a chat, someone talking about the weekend, someone moaning about the deadline, the usual stuff, right? Everyone logs off thinking nothing of it. What they don't realise is that that entire conversation has been logged. Response times have been noted, who spoke the most, noted, whether the tone of chat followed was a negative tone, that's all flagged. Now this isn't some mad conspiracy theory, this is Microsoft Teams doing exactly what it was built to do. Let me break down what's actually being tracked, because guess what? Most people have absolutely no idea. First thing, your activity patterns. Teams monitors when you're online, when you go idle, how long you've been in meetings, and how fast you respond to messages. Your company can pull all of those reports on this whenever they want. No warning, no notification to you, they just pull report. Second thing, Microsoft introduced something that's called a productivity score. It turns all of that tracked data into grading systems for your managers. How many days you sent emails, how often you join chats, whether you're collaborating enough. After a massive backlash, Microsoft did remove the individual names from those reports, but, and this is the bit where people miss, the tracking still exists. Your IT admin can still see that data. They just have to click the extra button and tie it all back to you specifically. And then the third thing, and this is the one that really catches people off guard, Microsoft has been using the content that you create across Teams, Word, Excel, and the rest of Office to suit and train its AI models. All of your documents, your meeting transcripts, your chat messages, all of it becomes potential training data unless your IT department specifically opts out. Most organizations don't even know that this setting exists, which means that they almost always, certainly, miss it off the list. Now, let's talk about meetings specifically, because that's where it gets really interesting for anybody running a business. When you record a Teams meeting, that recording doesn't just sit in a folder somewhere. If Copilot is enabled, a lot of businesses, which a lot of the time it is enabled, a lot of businesses have this switched on without fully understanding what it actually does. The entire meeting gets fully transcribed, and then the summary of that transcription gets held automatically. That means every word, every side comment, every don't miss this, or move this from the minutes, all of that becomes now searchable, it's storable, and it's all held in the Microsoft 365 environment. And here's the bit that people don't realize, right? That data doesn't just disappear. Companies are legally required to retain it. Me, as a business owner, I have to retain it, which means something that you said 2 years ago can also get pulled up into any kind of legal discovery case that has absolutely nothing to do with you. So just bear that bit in mind. Now, before anyone hits the comments with, oh, well, I've got nothing to hide, or I'm a manager, I wouldn't do that. That's not the point, right? Right, granted, everyone's got their own things that they adhere to, but that's not the point. The point is that informed content, that's the point. When you join the company, you probably signed an acceptable use policy buried somewhere in the onboarding pack, page 7, between the dress code and the parking rules. And you didn't negotiate it. Why? Because you clicked agree, because you needed a job, because you wanted to get paid. Now think about it like this, right? Imagine your landlord put cameras in your flat, but told you that they'd only ever look at the footage within the flat if they suspected that you're up to something. Technically, it would be in the contract. But would you act in the same way in your own home if you knew that that was there? Would you feel comfortable? Of course you wouldn't. Not at all. Because being watched changes your behaviour, even if you're doing absolutely nothing wrong, right? Look at all the Big Brother contestants, I'm sure their behaviour changed. Now that's what's happening in the digital workspace today, as we speak. And most businesses are absolutely sleepwalking and not even aware that this is going on. So, what do you actually do about all of this? It's all good and well saying, like, Chris, you're a conspiracy theorist, everyone's watching. It is, but what do you do about it? 1, never sign into a personal Microsoft account on a work device. Keep them completely separate. Different browser Ideally, a different machine. If you've got two machines, ideally a different machine. Now, once they're on the same device, Microsoft's data's ecosystem, it doesn't treat them as cleanly as separately as what you'd assume. It just treats all data as data. Second thing to do, assume everything you type into Teams is permanent and visible to your employer. Now, not in a paranoia way, just in a reality way. Don't vent on work chats. Don't send anything you wouldn't read out loud in a meeting room when your CEO sat opposite you. Number 3, if you're running a business, ask your IT team whether productivity score is enabled and whether you've opted out of Microsoft's AI's training data collection. Now, most IT staff won't even know what you're asking. That reason tells you everything you need to know about what this needs to do, right? The thought has just gone completely out of people's minds. Ask your IT team to get a grip of it. Have a look at the settings. Number 4, on the meeting recording front, have an explicit policy. Make it clear to your team when meetings are being recorded, when Copilot transcription is active, and what happens to that data. Not just because it's good practice, everyone should know, but because not telling people erodes trust. And people watch videos like this and they think there's some mad conspiracy going on. But once the trust is gone, you don't get it back. And if you're fitting out meeting rooms, this is important, our team can do this for you. So we've provided a fully quoted small, medium and large meeting room solutions, fully installed and supported, where our commissioners set up all of these settings for you. So go check out the link below. If you want to take a look at that service, we'll show you how much it costs and our team do it all for you. Number 5, check your status settings. You can adjust how quickly Teams marks you as away. You can set your status manually instead of letting the app broadcast your exact movements in real time. Now, it won't stop the back-end tracking. Nothing will, short of not using the actual software. But at least you're not handing that information over on a plate and just saying, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing. Set your own settings on that side of things. The bigger picture here is that workplace surveillance has crept up to us step by step. Started with email monitoring, then internet filtering, then badge systems, then productivity software, then AI scoring your collaboration. Each step felt reasonable on its own, but you add them all together and all of a sudden you're working inside a system that assumes you need to be measured and trusted at every single stage. Working from home, hybrid policy doesn't help with this matter. Now, study after study shows that constant monitoring tanks morale, raises anxiety, and actually makes people less productive. So it's not even working on its own terms, right? It's just because normal people sign normal contracts and nobody pushed back on this early enough. Now, let me very, very quickly recap for you. Teams does track your activity, your response times, how you communicate, when you're online. Your employer owns all of that data and can access it indefinitely. Meeting recordings and transcripts are stored and they're searchable. Microsoft uses your content to train the AI models unless somebody at your company specifically has it switched off, which most people don't because they don't even know it exists. And the old "I've got nothing to hide" argument is a red herring. This is about power transparency, the fact that being watched changes how people behave, whether they like it or not, or whether they're doing anything wrong or whether anything right. And I do get comments all the time. I would never do that. That's not the point. The point of the video is it is happening. So that's privacy sorted. But transcripts only work if microphones in the meeting room actually work in the first place. You can't transcribe what you can't hear. Now, I cover the correct room design in this next video here. So go check that out and make sure your rooms can actually hear people in the first place.